Welcome back, grade 12 accounting. Welcome to IEP Live. For more videos, you can tune into Itala Edu Accounting, so that you can interact with us, as well as on Mobi app, so that you can able to ask questions. Namhlanje bafundi sizokwenza i-income statement, or okuthiwa i-statement of comprehensive income ngegama elisha kwanye with the new term, right? So bheka i-question paper yase-KZN ngoSeptember, right? KZN September, that is income statement. Income statement. Okay, let's have a look at the answer book. Let's have a look at the answer book there. Okay, so today we'll be doing the income statement. Sizoqala lapha ezansi, because you know which income statement uyakwazi ukuqala ezansi to the last 3 lines, right? Uyakwazi ukuqala lapha ezansi kwi-net profit after tax, uthole taxation, uthole net profit before tax. Especially if you look at the question paper, njengoba ucheck-a i-question paper yethu, ne? Question paper yethu in a question mark, right? Okay, we are still going to put the question paper, right? So we look at that. Okay, so if maybe I can talk shortly about the income statement, what is it that goes to the income statement? In Fundi, it's all about the matching principle. Remember, this is the income statement. Income statement is all about, I always tell people that this is accounting. We call it ALUI. These first 3 letters, it's a balance sheet. Remember last time when we were doing a balance sheet? And then the last 2 letters, this is the nominal, this is nominal, or this is income statement. So with balance sheet, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is the balance sheet. So which means A is equal to O plus L, remember? So which means for the balance sheet, this is 1 is equal to 2 plus 3. So you start with the assets, equity, and liability. You start with this. For the income statement, this is 5-4. This is 5 and 4. So we start with the list number. It's a matching principle. We are matching between the income as well as the expenses. So that is all about the income statement. So for the income statement, you look at these 2 letters. Then for the balance sheet, you follow this. This is the system. Okay. So income statement, you must know that we have 4 figures for the companies that are in brackets. It's a cost of sales on top, right? And then operating expense, and then note number 2, that is interest expense, as well as taxation. So those are the only figures that must be in brackets. Then the other figures we have to add. Please, you must ensure that you put brackets where necessary, right? Okay, so you already know the format, grade 12, you know the format of the income statement, right? So we do have sales, right? Then we have cost of sales, we have gross profit, and then we have after the add other operating income, right? Other operating income. Then we can also have those income. It can be service income, it can be service income fee. Okay, service income fee. There's a service income fee here. Rent income. There's also rent income here. Rent income, right? And other income that can be on the question, right? What another income that you have here? Profit on sale of an asset. Okay, profit on sale of assets. If it's a loss, it will write on the operating expenses. Then we can also have provision. If there's a decrease in the provision for bad debts, decrease in provision for bad debts, decrease in provision for bad debts. Okay, decrease in provision for bad debts. And then you are also now having what? Gross income. Remember, we're having a gross profit now. Then the answer now we have gross income. Gross income. Right. So you record your figure there. Then now you are having operating expenses. Okay, operating expenses. Let's go on the format of the operating expense quickly. Yeah, I'll put this one here because we're still going to need it when we are putting the figures. So operating expenses, the expenses that we incurred while we were operating our business. So I'll try to list here. There's the one that we are given already in an answer book. We are giving audit fees. Audit fees were already given, right? Audit fees, salaries, and wages. Salaries and wages. Yes, we have insurance. Right, we have depreciation. Then there will be another expenses that are coming from the adjustment other than this one, like directors' fees, fees, right? Salaries and wages, right? Sundry expense were given, but it's in a question mark. Sundry expense, operating profit. Okay, operating profit. Okay, now we get operating profit here. Operating profit. After operating profit is note number 1, interest income. After interest income is profit before interest expense, right? Operating profit before interest expense. And then interest expense. Okay, this figure must be in brackets, remember? And then after operating expense, we have a net profit before tax. Okay, I want to start here. Net profit before tax. Before the tax, and then we have taxation. And then net profit after tax. Net profit. So the main aim of doing income statement is to get a net profit after tax. After the tax. Okay, let's go on the question. Okay, that's the main. Okay, let's look at the question paper. We'll be starting. Okay, here we are given income tax of there on page 4. We are given income tax that the last yearly income tax for the year was calculated as 600,000. This This is 30% of the net profit. Okay, so we're given a taxation yet. So it's easy now. Our taxation, it's 30%. Sometimes, so which means, right, so we're given here, this is 30%. This is 30%. So which means here it was sitting at 100% in Apana. So which means here to 70% in a profit after tax. So we're given the amount for the taxation. We are told on adjustment A that is 600,000. So 600,000 times by 70 divided by 30, you get an after tax. So let's do it. 600,000 to 3 times by 70, where you are going, divided by where you are coming from. You have to say where you are going, divided by where you are coming from 30. Right, so you get 1.4 million. So our profit after tax is 1.4 million. Then we can also get, remember this figure, it's in brackets, right? This figure, it's in brackets. You can also get it before tax. You can say this figure, 1.4 million times by 100 divided by 70. Remember, these are put in a normal calculator, not number one of the cash flow. Remember, cash flow is saying profit before tax adjustment in respect of depreciation as well as interest expense. Uthole information kodwa profit after tax or the formula ifuna before tax. So yaxis. So you have to say 1.4, 1, 2, 3 times by 100. You are going from 100, you are coming from 70 divided by 70. So which means if before tax here it was 2 million. So we've got to 2 million now. 2 million knows about 6, so 2 knows about 6. Right. So already, this is the last 3 lines of the income statement in full. You already have lots and lots of marks here. Right. Please, we have to disclose. Right. So already we have about 3 marks here. Right. You already have 3 marks. Then you go now to do 2 space. You go now to note. You can even go on top now on the sales. But I want to emphasize on the last 3 lines of the income statement. This is the last 3 lines of the income statement. The net profit before tax, taxation, net profit after tax. I told the last 3 lines. As well as the first 3 lines. Right. Let's go on the first 3 lines, the sales. Right. If question paper, a cost of sales. If you look at the question paper, is at the answer book. We're given the cost of sales. Now the cost of sales we answer book. Sinikeziwe 48,000. So we're given the cost of sales. So which means in there, is the sales. Sometimes we'll be given the sales, not giving the cost of sales. Okay, let's look at the information. If information we're given okay, the sales, it's a question mark, but we do have the information on B. Right, so now information B. Okay, let's calculate it much B. So what you're going to say on B, they are saying trade discount of 360 was allowed on invoice to certain customers. The business price its goods at a markup of 70%. Remember, we are given the cost of sales, right? And we are also given the markup. Therefore, we can get our sales. So the cost of sales is 480,900, right? Times by, because we are looking for the sales. If we look for the sales, we add a markup on the numerator. If we are calculating for the cost of sales, we add the markup on the denominator, right? So we times by 170, right? Divided by 100, right? You get 8. So here, Mfundi, you'll be getting now 8. This is 8175. Right, let me write down these workings. Let me write it down. Okay, let me write it down. So what basically, remember from 100 divided by 100, right? So because we are calculating for the sales, so which means we are given the cost of sales. This is calculation of sales, right? So we do have the cost of sales. The cost of sales, it's 480 and 000. So then times by, we add a markup, it's 100 plus markup, right, divided by 100. So which means 4809 times by 170, because the markup page is 70. You get divided by 100. So the answer here is 81753. Okay, so that is our sales. So we have this one, and then we less the discount. We less also many data allowances. Let's check whether we have data allowances on the question. No, we don't have data allowances in the question. So we have only this discount of 36 that is on adjustment B. So we less that 360,000. So we have 360,000. Then you get now the net sales. So we are saying now 8175 300 less 360. 1, 2, 3. Then you get 27815 300. Right. So now let's get what now? The cost. So I mean the gross profit. Our gross profit. So let's get the gross profit now. We have to say sales less cost of sales is equal to gross profit minus 4809 1, 2, 3. So you get now 2300 300. And so the wafundi. Then you get about 6 marks or 7 marks here. Also already. Then let's check other income that are coming. We are also given on the operating income. We're given one of the income. If you look at the answer book, let's go back on the answer book. On the answer book, you are given the service fee income. So we are given a service fee income of how much? Of 550,000. So already we are given this 550. Right, 550,000. Those are about 3 now. 550,000. So what we have to do is to calculate the rent income. Right. Let's check what is the opening of the rent income. There on adjustment. Okay, let's go to the question paper now. Adjustment D. The rent has been received until 31st of May. Right, 2023, the monthly rent increased by 10% on 1st of November. Oh, okay. Question. So you do the workings here, the opening balance of rent. Let's go on the opening balance. Page 3. Let's check what rent here to Imali. Our rent is 62,800. No, let's go and check on page 3 of the question. Page 3 of the question, yes. Okay, up a bit. No, the rent income. Yeah, up. Yes, there you go. Okay, you can see the rent income on the nominals, right? It's 62,800. So that's an opening of the rent. So we have this 62,800. So now let's calculate again now. Other learners from other schools, they use it. Straight line, others they use the circle. Okay, it depends which ones are in, but the most important thing, grade 12 was we calculate. So we can use the circle. Others they use a straight line. Okay, others they use a straight line to calculate the months. Right, if you are using a circle, you can use it like this. Right, like you are doing a watching. So And then in between, you are saying 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So if January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Then says here, checker, when is our year end is written there, you can see it's on the 28th of February 2023. So our year end is 28th of Feb 2023. That is the year end. So it's obvious if the year end is 28th of February 2023, when is the date of commencement? The first day of the following month, the previous year. The first day of the following month, the previous year. So when is the first day? It's 1 of March 3, 2022. So siqalela sahamba. Right, it's December now. This is December here, right? Aphele December 2022, says 2023. But manje sikhokhe up until when? Up until May. May, right? Up until May. Nangu May lapha. So I check ukuthi i-adjustment ye-rand on the 1st of November 2022. Here, i-rand went up, right? The rand went up on this date. Okay, so let me take another piece of paper for calculations. Let me take another piece of paper for calculations. Okay, on the first. So here, so rand. Okay, then for how long rand was 100% before it went up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for 8 months, rand was 100% before it went up by 10%. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we are not going to count November because it's a first day of November. If maybe it was maybe like the 31st or 30th, sorry, it's 30th of November, we're going to count November. But now since we are November, so we've got 8 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus how many months rand since it went up? Remember, we paid up until May, right? We paid up until May. So now, how many months from November to May? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 times by rand. It went up by what? By 10%. So which means it's 110. It's 100% plus 10%. So it gives you 110 equal to rand. Rand yethu sishilo sathi ubani as an opening balance 62,800 is there on the question. So is equal to 62,800. That is the rent income. So here 8 times by 800, 8 times by 100 is 800, right? Now we have to say 7 months times by 110, you get plus 770, right? Then you add these two, right? Plus 800, you get 1570. So you call this figure known. This is known. You call this figure known. Now we have to say unknown divided by known, right? Times by rent income over 1. So what is unknown? Unknown will be always this plus or this minus. If let's say maybe the rent decreased by 10%, so which means we'll be having 90. If the rent was increasing by 5%, so which means here we'll be having 105. If the rent was increasing by 3%, which means here we'll be having 103. So this is unknown, right? 1110 divided by known, that is 1570, times by the rent income 62,800 over 1. Then again, now you use your calculator and fold it. Now, what basically you're going to do, you are saying 1110 divide by 1570 times by 62,800. So you get now 4,400. Remember, E-rand was more with how many months? We paid more with how many months? How many months E-rand was more with? Okay. Remember, we paid up until to May, right? So which means from February we're more with 1, 2, 3. So we times now by 3, because this is each times by 3, right? 4,400 times by 3, you get 13,200. So let's say maybe on the same question, grade 12, we're also doing the notes or maybe the balance sheet. In there, it's income received in advance, right? So which means this figure will go to note number 5, trade and other receivables, right? So if the figure is more, so it means what I'm going to do, you less. So now you know exactly what to do here. You less this figure here of the rent. So you minus now 13,200. Le figure siyitholile lapha mfundi, uthole ke your figure of the actual figure for e-rent. So we are saying 62,800 minus 13,200. Then you get 496,600, right? And then there is okay, we also have profit on sale of an asset as well as the provision. Let me start quickly with the provision. Information C. Let's go on the information C, page 4 of the question paper, please. Right. C, yes. Now C laphana phezulu. Provision for bad debts must be adjusted to 7,515. Right. Sometimes what they will do, grade 12, they will give you a percentage laphana. If they give you a percentage, there's a work that's already been done. If they are giving you a percentage, so which means you must go to, remember when we are doing note number 5. Note number 5. Note number 5, remember, is trade and other receivable. Let's they are linked, unfortunately. They link, right? So if, for instance, you are given, remember here we have trade debtors. Trade debtors, right? Trade debtors. So you put the figure of the debtors there, debtors control, minus bad debts. Bad debts, right? Bad debts from where? Coming from the adjustment, not the one from the one that are coming from the adjustment. You get the figure here. That is note number 5. And then you less the provision for bad debts, provision for bad debts, right? So which means in this case, if for instance we're doing this activity here, that's the figure that you're going to less, the one that you are given on C, 7,515. So you less 7,515. That's a figure that you have to less. But if you are given a percentage, it can be maybe 3%, 5%. You times it here, times by 5%. So this figure must come here. You see, must come here. Then from here, you get what? A net trade. You get a net trade. Okay, let's get a net trade. Then you get the net trade. Get a net trade. You get a net trade here. Then from the net trade, then you accrued income. Accrued income. as well as a prepaid expense. Maybe as well as SARS, if SARS is debited. So you add those figures here. But I want to emphasize with this provision. So this provision now for the income statement, you're only going to compare with the one that you are given on the information, that's information A. Okay, so now let's go on information A for comparison. Okay, let's go to page 3. Let's go to page 3. Page 3, we are given the provision. Okay, provision. What is our provision for bad debts? The money that, so the provision for bad debts. So we have 8,135 minus the one that we are given. Let's put adjustment C minus 7515. Okay, let's go to page 4, adjustment C. So you can see e-provision was 8,135, but the actual incurred is 715. So it's a decrease indeed. So it's an income. A provision, if there's a decrease in provision for bad debts, it's an income. If it's an increase, it's an expense. So it difference between the two. Let's do it quickly because of time. So we have 8,135 minus 7515. So this is 620. So this is 620. 620, right? And then, okay, there's also then there's also an asset, right? Not sure whether it's Kansas Bumelani, but we can do this one, right? So that is basically e-provision yakho la imfundo ka grade 12 that you can do, right? And then if you look, there was also on adjustment H, a new equipment costing 50,000, right? Was purchased. Okay, that one. Okay, no, it's not. I have to look at G. Sorry, the asset disposal. An old delivery vehicle carrying value of 170 was sold, right, on cash. Okay, it's very easy to calculate the asset disposal at grade 12. Sometimes they will say come and calculate the asset disposal account before income statement, and then you have to do your income statement. So it's easy, very easy, even to pass the question. So that's how you have to calculate your asset disposal. Okay, asset disposal account, you have to write asset disposal. Firstly, look at adjustment G, where they're talking about selling of the asset, right? So an old vehicle was carrying with the carrying value of what? Of with the carrying value of what is this amount? Okay, so you looked, okay, then we have the cost price. Here you must record the cost price of that asset that you are dealing with. Accumulated depreciation here, and then here, what is it? Either you are selling on cash or credit or on account, right? If it is cash, therefore it's bank, right? Okay, so you are already told there on G that you are selling this on cash. This is 150, right? So, and then you check what was the cost price. Okay, the current book value was 170, right? Unfortunately, grade 12 is cut sesishayile sesa exceed a bit. Ngicela ukuthi nibuze ama question on this income statement, so besiqhubeke sinisize la esingafike ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi sinisize khona ukuze nisizakale, especially njengoba nibhala nje ngoLwesine this coming Thursday. Siyabonga kakhulu ke abafundi baka grade 12, ixesha luchaba kusho njalo ngesiXhosa. Siyabonga, thank you.